Hey, Shalom. Kahala, Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so. To the scattered elect, scattered across the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations, and those that look like the heathen nations, the speckled birds. To the Akim and Akwath listening and learning, I say Shalom. I am disciple Aparium with Great Millstone Dallas Camp, coming to you with another lesson in truth and sincerity. So today's lesson, I'm going to be going over a documentary that I saw called La Operación. And this documentary came out in 1982 and basically was discussing about the sterilization that Esau Edom opposed on what is known as the island of Puerto Rico, or we call it Borinquen, which is the house of the great and valiant Lord, which is the Taino name. So basically, they conducted this during the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and on to the 80s. So this happened for approximately 40, almost 50 years. So I'm going to start out with reading Job 9 and 24. And Salaki, I'm going to put the link of the documentary in the description box below. And as you can see it right there on the screen. So I'm going to start out with Job 9 and 24. It says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" And just like as we said before, this wicked is Esau Edom. And what they did during those years is it's just sickening. Essentially, they were telling women, they actually had campaigns telling women that that they could get their tubes tied and that it was reversible, and it wasn't. Okay, so this went on for many years, and on top of that, they were saying that the island was overpopulated, and so in order to dwindle the population of the island, so it wouldn't be so overpopulated, as they say, was to have the Puerto Ricans come over to the U.S. and many of them came over to New York, which if you ever been to New York, the population there is way more per square miles than it was or still is in Puerto Rico. All right, so I'm gonna go to the next precept. This is Genesis 49:22. It says, "Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow in a well, whose branches run over the wall." And see, essentially, if you know Puerto Ricans, we have a lot of children, and so they essentially were trying to change that mindset to having smaller families, and that if you can have a smaller family, then you'll be more successful in society. That's what they were teaching the women, and and the men who were going along with this. Another thing they were doing on the island was essentially they were testing birth control in its infancy. And there were really high numbers of women who were experiencing internal bleeding, having all kinds of issues, mental issues, depression, you name it. And that was going on. And essentially, the taking of the land, Operation Bootstrap, along with land grabs of the Gadites, sought to profit America. And during this whole time, that's what they were doing, So they were testing it on the Gadites, and especially a lot on the Ephraimites. So, they sought to profit America, meanwhile dwindling, Ephraim's resources to just outsource jobs and to to other locations for more cheap labor. Essentially, they were bringing in a lot of factory type labor in the island. And, they went from being such a subsistence nation, being able to farm and whatnot, to a lot of them coming over to the main cities in the island to find work. They didn't want us growing for ourselves, being reliant, being dependable. All right. This is Obadiah 1:5. It says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Now, I got grapes myself, right? And I go out and I pick them. I got at least about 3 or 4 vines that come through that grow and have a little pergola in the back. But the thing is, when you picking grapes, man, sometimes there'd be so much grapes, I just can't really pick them all, And so sometimes I just I leave some grapes for the birds, whatever. I know I want to go. I know I want to go back and pick those grapes. However, Esau, that's not how he does it. He's never satisfied. He's always wanting more and more and more. Hence the predicament that you see going on today with NATO. The beasts. The horde that controls the beasts over there keep wanting to go east and east and east. They got rid of that buffer zone that Russia always wanted. My thing is, how would you feel if your enemy's on your doorsteps? But it's prophecy. It's got to happen. All right, it's Proverbs 24:20. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of men are never satisfied. Again, like I said, heaven and hell are just conditions played here on earth. But Esau's always gonna have us in that hellish condition. Because I said they're never satisfied. They always want more. They covet. This is Micah 2:2. They covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And this is really kind of twofold. One, obviously, the way it reads, they oppress people by taking things away in the fields, and they do it by violence, right? But at the same time, they condition people to even do this unto the men of the house, right? And we all know that the men are supposed to be in charge of the house. I believe that's in 1 Corinthians 7th chapter. It talks about how Yahweh is the head, you have the son, and then you have the man of the house, right? And then the woman on down. And so, they even condition the women to do this unto the men. And so, it's like subconsciously don't even realize that we play into this system, this beast system. This is Job 24:2. It says, evil people steal land by moving the boundary markers. They steal livestock and put them in their own pastures. And that's right. It's just like how they had to stop farming, like I was discussing earlier. And now it's funny because a lot of younger people on the island are starting to go back to that, but it's not going to be the same as what it once was. And to be honest, it's too late right now. This is the year of the turn up, as the apostles have coined this year. This is Sirach 13. I'll go read verse 1 first. It says, he touches pitch and shall be defiled therewith. And he that hath fellowship with a proud man shall be likened unto him. So that pitch basically is referring to what they use, like what construction workers use. Sometimes they use it on roads. They use it for gluing certain things and on roofs. And pitch is very messy. It's real messy. You need something special to get that pitch off. To wash it away, to get it off. And not only that, it's at the time, but in a spiritual sense, we need this word to cleanse us. Essentially, Salaki, I got some notes right here. But that pitch, like I said, is a tar resin, right? And you have to use something heavy duty to get it off. And the Lord designed this word to get filth off of us, to become that new man, right? And so, and then the proud man, pursuant to the scriptures, is Esau, Edom. The proudest ones are those who don't want to humble themselves down to receive this truth. Going back to that verse 1 right there, that proud man, shall be like unto him, that you shouldn't have fellowship with them, right? And really, that's all these churches. You having fellowship with that proud man. Burden not thyself above thy power, while thou livest, and have no fellowship with one that is mightier and richer than thyself. For how agree the kettle and the earthen pot together? All right. For if the one be smitten, right, or smashed up against each other, it shall be broken. All right. So the rich man hath done wrong, and he threateneth withal. The poor is wrong, and he must entreat also. So you guys see that? So basically, the rich man, he's the one that's doing wrong, right? And then he tries to threaten the one who's in the lower estate. He uses people in a lower estate always. And it's been like, a lot of these territories, and especially with Puerto Rico, is like, we just been like kind of proving grounds for Esau. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. And that's just exactly what this lesson's been going into. So if thou have anything, he will live with thee. And yea, and he will make thee bear, and will not be sorry for it. And that's what they do. I mean, look what's going on in Uganda. They got all that gold, all that riches that they just found. Man, guarantee that one of these Edomite nations trying to make their way over there right now. This is Job 21:19. This is the NLT version right here. Well, you say at least Yahweh will punish their children, but I say he should punish the ones who sin, so that they understand his judgment. And they stay in sin. We all sin, but they really stay in sin the whole time. And this is what I want to leave off with, kind of going line back in on that Job in 9:24, what I started out with. It says, prepare slaughter for his children and for the iniquity of their fathers. That they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the whole of the world with cities. And then, in order for this place to get better, like I said, it's got to come down. And that concludes this lesson, man. Hey, I just want to close out. I pray this lesson was edifying. And on to the next. Shalom.